Today, we're talking about all of the controversy and drama from Eurovision 2024, and how the European Song Contest received extreme amounts of backlash after allowing a song entry that many considered to be too political, which led to constant booing during performances, artists being reprimanded when calling for peace, and one contestant being banned from the competition following what seems to be a very minor incident. But I pulled together this entire story, along with even more drama. So by the end, you can get caught up on everything that happened at Eurovision 2024. If it's your first time here, hi, I'm Austin. I make videos staying caught up with the latest internet drama and news, so if that sounds like your thing, feel free to stick around. And if you ever come across a story you think I should cover, feel free to DM me on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. I never go out of my way to ask you guys to like the video, but today we'll be covering some important and touchy topics, so this video is going to need all the help it can get in the algorithm. I'm making today's video in support of the Creators for Palestine fundraiser, which is raising money for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. I wasn't asked to be officially a part of this, but I know and watch a lot of the creators that are. Support for Palestine in this moment is more needed than ever. So visit the link below if you want to learn more or help out. Now, before we get into it, thank you so much for watching. So what is Eurovision? Formerly known as the Eurovision Song Contest, it's an international song competition, which started in 1956 and is held every year by the European Broadcasting Union. It includes 37 competing countries from all across Europe, along with a few extras that are historically related, like Israel, Armenia, Morocco, and Australia. According to USA Today, this is how the competition works. Participating nations submit an original song written by a resident and send a delegated performer to sing it. Singers don't have to be from the country they represent. The competition consists of 3 live broadcasts, 2 semifinals, and the grand finale. Viewers can't vote for their own country's performers. Aside from the glory, winners receive a glass trophy and the chance to host next year's competition. Sweden and Ireland hold the record with 7 wins. On CBS News, they add, through 2 semifinals, the acts were narrowed to the 25 scheduled to compete in Saturday's final in front of thousands of spectators in the Malmö Arena, and a global television audience estimated at 180 million. Nations can enter a solo act or a band. They can perform in any genre and language, but the rules state they must sing live, and songs must be no more than 3 minutes long. Staging has grown ever more elaborate, incorporating flashy pyrotechnics and elaborate choreography. Once all the acts have performed, the winner is chosen by a famously complex mix of phone and online voters from around the world, and rankings by music industry juries in each of the Eurovision countries. As the results are announced, countries slide up and down the rankings and tensions build, ending up with 0 points or 0, ranks as a national humiliation. But now let's talk about where the controversy began. Back around December 20th, 2023, when the Association of Composers and Lyricists of Iceland called for their home nation to boycott Eurovision unless Israel was banned from taking part. In response, the European Broadcasting Union said, "The Eurovision Song Contest is a competition for public service broadcasters from across Europe and the Middle East. It is a competition for broadcasters, not governments. And the Israeli public broadcaster has participated in the contest for 50 years. The Eurovision Song Contest remains a non-political event that unites audiences worldwide through music." The refusal to consider a ban on Israel received a large amount of criticism, with many calling the move hypocritical, pointing out that they banned Russia in 2022 following the invasion of Ukraine. A couple months into 2024, on February 22nd, things only got messier for Israel, when the Eurovision organizers forced them to change some of the words in their song, after lyrics leaked to the media which heavily referenced the attack on October 7th. It also didn't help that the song was called October Rain. This article from Reuters states, according to the Israel Hayom newspaper, it includes lines such as, "There's no air left to breathe," and "They were all good children, each one of them." Apparent allusions to people who holed up in shelters as Hamas gunmen carried out a killing and kidnapping spree at an outdoor music festival and other sites. The song also contains a reference to flowers, which Israel Hayom said is military code for war fatalities. A source in national broadcaster Khan, which sponsors the Israeli entry, confirmed to Reuters that the leaked lyrics were accurate. In response to the European Broadcasting Union investigating the situation, the Israeli culture minister said any decision to disqualify October Rain would be scandalous. He denied that the song is political, saying it gives voice to the feelings of the people in the country nowadays. A couple days later, Israel's president added, "I think it's important for Israel to appear in Eurovision. And this is also a statement because there are haters who try to drive us off every stage. Being smart is not just being right." You know, whatever that means. But despite the initial pushback, Israel agreed to change the lyrics and title of the song around March 3rd. It's now called Hurricane, and it contains updated lyrics for 6 of the lines. Let's talk about some of the pushback regarding the other Eurovision artists, which picked up on March 29th, when over 450 queer artists signed an open letter calling on the UK's entry, Ollie Alexander, to boycott this year's competition. They addressed him directly, saying, "We share the vision of queer joy and abundance you've offered through your music, and share your belief in collective liberation for all. In this spirit, we ask you to heed the Palestinian call to withdraw from Eurovision. There can be no party with a state committing apartheid and genocide." In response, Ollie Alexander and a few other artists posted across social media saying, "We want to begin by acknowledging the privilege of taking part in Eurovision. In light of the current situation in the occupied Palestinian territories, and particularly in Gaza and in Israel, we do not feel comfortable being silent. It is important to us to stand in solidarity with the oppressed and communicate our heartfelt wish for peace, an immediate lasting ceasefire, and the safe return of all hostages. We stand united against all forms of hate, including anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. We firmly believe in the unifying power of music, enabling people to transcend differences and foster meaningful conversations and connections. We feel it is our duty to create and uphold this space, with a strong hope that it will inspire greater compassion and empathy." This statement was heavily criticized by the Queers for Palestine group that originally wrote the letter, in a post saying, "We welcome the decision of Ollie Alexander and other Eurovision contestants to break their silence and respond to our movement's appeals. As artists representing their respective countries in one of the world's biggest musical events, their voices have power. However, when they use that voice to downplay the genocide in Gaza by vaguely calling it a mere situation, they misuse their power. When they choose to ignore the call for boycott issued by the largest Palestinian coalition in historic Palestine and in exile, they risk condescending to the people who are being occupied and massacred and are asking for our solidarity. As queers who have long loved and watched Eurovision, we are ashamed of Eurovision's racist double standards. The organizers, the EBU, were quick to ban Russia after the invasion of Ukraine, as they should have, but refused to do the same with Israel, even after 6 months of indiscriminate bombing, shooting, and intentional starvation, let alone 75 years of apartheid, settler colonialism, and occupation. When Ollie Alexander and other contestants choose to call performing at Eurovision a privilege, sharing a stage with genocidal apartheid Israel, they inadvertently reveal the same lack of concern, if not contempt, for the Palestinian people of Gaza that Eurovision organizers have shown, regardless of intentions. The most powerful use of Ollie's voice at this moment would be to use it to announce his withdrawal from Eurovision. That action would speak louder than any statement of support or performative gesture on stage. If boycott were not such a powerful tool, European governments would not be attempting to repress this effective form of solidarity that challenges regimes of oppression. History will look kindly upon those who heeded the call of the oppressed in their most urgent moment of crisis. A vast global movement led by Palestinians is calling on Ollie Alexander to boycott Eurovision. We urge him and other Eurovision contestants to consider their place in history. Around the same time as this situation, in late March, Sweden announced higher security measures for the competition, assuming that it'd be a bit more chaotic than usual. This included a complete ban on bags, and in an attempt to prevent any Palestinian flags from showing up on the TV broadcast, they banned any flags that weren't from competing countries. This inadvertently caused the EU flag to get banned, with several attendees posting on social media that they were denied entry with it. But now we get to Eurovision. and all of the drama that happened during it. For Israel's contestant, Eden Golan, it was pretty much every performance. Because at the arena, her vocals at each show were drowned out by constant booing and chanting. Despite all the boos, media outlets report that they couldn't be heard at all on the TV broadcast, with many viewers claiming that the EBU is adding in fake cheering. The whole situation got serious enough that Eden's security was increased massively. With the AP writing, Golan has largely stayed out of sight in Malmo, apart from rehearsals and performances at the Malmo arena. While other performers have taken the stage for fans in a Eurovision park in the city, Golan has not. When it got down to the final rounds, another controversy hit the competition, after the Italian broadcaster accidentally leaked the televote breakdown early, showing that Eden Golan from Israel had been the Italians' clear favorite, with over 39% of the vote. Some speculate that this huge lead was due to boycotts leading up to the event. However, this started an uproar on social media, with people quickly taking sides and creating voting campaigns. The day of the finals, on May 11th, the drama really starts to pile up, starting with the spokesperson for Norway, Alessandra Mele, withdrawing from her role, with a statement saying, "There's a genocide going on, and I'm asking you all to please open up your eyes, open up your heart, let love lead you to the truth. It's right in front of you. Free Palestine." This trend continued when the spokesperson from Finland also withdrew from his role. On his Instagram story, he said, "I have decided not to participate as the spokesperson for the Finnish jury in tonight's Eurovision finale. Giving out the points does not feel right." However, many people noted that this withdrawal wasn't exactly genuine, because just moments before this, he was calling for a video of him and the Israeli singer Eden Golan to be removed from social media. In the clip, the Finnish singer was seen dancing and laughing with Golan, but it appears to have been taken down following a statement from him. Karija, who performed at the Eurovision semi-final, posted on Instagram on Thursday and said, "I happened to meet Israel's Eurovision representative today, and a video was filmed of us. It was then posted on social media without my permission. Despite my requests for its removal, it has not been taken down. I would like to clarify and emphasize that the video is not a political statement or endorsement of any kind." Another artist with a more genuine refusal to participate included Loreen from Sweden, a previous two-time Eurovision champion who said she will break protocol and not give Israel singer Eden Golan the trophy if she wins, adding that she intends to make her position clear over her stance on Israel around her carefully choreographed and graceful trophy handover, which will show the world what side of history she really stands on. Meanwhile, outside the event, several thousand protesters, including Greta Thunberg, proclaimed their view that Israel should not be allowed to compete, with police attempting to remove many of the protesters before the event. Newsweek writes, police estimated that between 6,000 and 8,000 people joined Saturday's demonstration. More than 10,000 pro-Palestinian protesters gathered before Thursday's semi-final in Sweden, according to Reuters. Now, let's talk about the controversy involving Joost Klein, the Dutch artist that sings this bop. The drama started on May 9th, when the BBC says this happened. At a Eurovision press conference on Thursday, Golan was asked whether she had ever thought that by being here, you bring risk and danger for other participants and public. When the Israeli singer was told by the moderator that she did not have to answer the question, Klein chimed in, "Why not?" Golan replied, "I think we're all here for one reason, and one reason only. And the EBU is taking all safety precautions to make this a safe and united place for everyone. And so I think it's safe for everyone, and we wouldn't be here if not." The next day, on Friday afternoon, during the first dress rehearsal for Saturday's televised grand final, Klein's props were being set up on stage inside the Malmo arena, when a production manager indicated they should be removed. His song was then skipped without explanation, and Israel's entrant, Eden Golan, who was next in the running order, took his place. The European Broadcasting Union, EBU, which organizes the event, later issued a statement saying they were investigating an incident that was reported to us involving the Dutch artist, with the EBU going on to confirm that Joost Klein would be banned from taking part in Saturday's final, saying, while the legal process takes its course, it would not be appropriate for him to continue in the contest. We maintain a zero-tolerance policy towards inappropriate behavior at our event, and are committed to providing a safe and secure environment. The Guardian goes on to report that the organizers said the incident did not involve any other performers or delegation members. However, Dutch broadcaster Avrotros said it was shocked by the decision to boot Klein from the show, since he had merely made a threatening move towards a camerawoman, but not touched her. Against the clearly made agreement, Joost was filmed when he had just gotten off stage and had to rush to the green room. At that moment, Joost repeatedly indicated that he did not want to be filmed. This wasn't respected. According to the broadcaster, it offered several solutions to the EBU, which decided to disqualify Klein anyway. Swedish police told the German magazine Der Spiegel that the incident they were investigating had not involved physical or sexualized violence. Friction between Klein and Israel's delegation at a press conference on Thursday night had fueled speculation that the incident that led to his absence was of a political nature. When Klein, who was due to perform just before Israel's contestant, Eden Golan, on Saturday night, was asked if his entry, Europapa, could live up to the competition's motto, United by Music, he said, "I think that's a good question for the EBU." Netherlands was so angry about this decision that they just straight up refused to send their jury votes to Eurovision. Apart from Joost Klein and Eden Golan, a few other artists were reprimanded for pro-Palestinian actions, including Bambi Thug from Ireland, who was forced to remove pro-Palestinian Agam writing before a performance, with the script spelling out ceasefire and freedom for Palestine. At a press conference following the semifinal, the artist said, "It was very important for me because I am pro-justice and pro-peace. Unfortunately, I had to change those messages today to Crown the Witch only, in order from the EBU." Similarly, the opening act performer Eric Sade wore a keffiyeh on his wrist during the show on Tuesday, with Time magazine reporting that the European Broadcasting Union, EBU, which organizes the international songwriting competition, admonished both performers for donning the attire during what they insist should remain an apolitical event. An EBU spokesperson tells Time that Sade didn't wear a keffiyeh during the rehearsals, but put it on without anyone noticing before the live broadcast. "We regret that Eric Sade chose to compromise the non-political nature of the event," the spokesperson says in an emailed statement. He was aware of the rules that apply when you stand on the Eurovision stage. Sade, whose father is of Palestinian origin, is not a contestant this year, but is a former Swedish Eurovision contestant who performed during the show's opening act Tuesday. "This was just my way of showing a part of my origin," Sade said in a statement posted to his Instagram story on Wednesday. "I got that keffiyeh from my dad when I was a little boy, to never forget where the family comes from. Back then, I didn't know it would one day be called a political symbol by EBU. It's like calling the Swedish Dala horse a political symbol. In my eyes, it's just racism. I just wanted to be inclusive and wear something that is authentic to me. But the EBU seems to think my ethnicity is controversial. It says nothing about me, but everything about them." During the third dress rehearsal before the final, the French contestant Slimane stopped mid-song to make a statement calling for peace and unity. However, despite not mentioning Israel or Palestine, the statement was not broadcast and only heard in the arena. During the final, multiple announcers made similar statements, with The Independent writing that, while announcing the judges' points, France took the opportunity to tell the world that it wants everyone to look for love and for peace. Meanwhile, when Austria announced its 12 points, it did so with an announcer in a black t-shirt that simply read, "Equality" in all caps. At the end of Portugal's performance, singer Yolanda simply said, "Peace will prevail," and reiterated the message with her choice of nail art, the Palestinian keffiyeh. Like Portugal, Ireland's entrant took the opportunity to call for peace at the end of their performance. But Bambi Thug also used their performance to promote trans rights, wearing a two-piece in the colors of the trans pride flag. The winner of this year's competition, Nemo of Switzerland, bravely took the opportunity to make their own protest after collecting the trophy. They simply said, "I hope that this competition continues to stand for peace." And that last one did spoil the winner a little bit, if that was something you were waiting for. But in the end, Switzerland did win with the song The Code from the non-binary artist Nemo. This was only after the executive supervisor for the EBU got drowned out in booze while going over the results.
The Eurovision executive supervisor Martin Österdahl, what can you tell us about the result?
Yeah, good evening.
Crowd have turned on Martin.
The moment of truth has arrived.
But with that, we're pretty much caught up on most of the major controversy surrounding Eurovision 2024. There is some other minor drama, but I feel like it'd pale in comparison to everything we've talked about. So I'll let you all bring it up in the comments. I did see the EBU posted this statement kind of responding to everything, but they really don't say much, so it's not even worth me reading. I'll just put it up on the screen if you want to see. Now that you know almost everything about what went down at the annual song competition, I need to know, what do you think about everything? Please let me know that and anything I missed down below. If you want to stay caught up with even more internet drama and news, subscribe to either channel to catch the next story. The next video probably will make it on the Anti-Austin channel. The link to the Creators for Palestine fundraiser will be in the description. Thanks to all the creators that are using their platform for good. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video, and for this thing. I can't believe it's actually real. And I'll see you in the next one.